Gordon was boasting to the other engines. "You know, my young dear engines," he said, "this island wouldn't have me to run this fast line. I wouldn't know an engine that is fast as me, not even young little Edward here." Henry whispered to Edward as Gordon puffed away. "Never mind," he said. "You might be old, but you could definitely beat Gordon to a race one day." "Thanks, Henry," Edward said, feeling better, but he wasn't too sure Henry was right. At the station, Gordon had finished dropping off his passengers when Edward bustled in. "Gordon," he said, "I know you think I'm old and not as fast as you are, but I'd like to have a race with you." Gordon was shocked. He hadn't expected Edward to be this confident. "Are you sure, little Edward?" "Yes, indeed," replied Edward bravely. His driver spoke with Sir Topham Hatt, who agreed. "But these big engines are always causing a great deal of problems," he said worriedly. Soon as Edward's cars were arranged, Edward popped on into the station. And soon the two engines were ready. "Be careful, young Edward," advised Gordon. "We still have to make our passenger and goods stops before reaching our final destination." Edward nodded, and his driver made lots of steam, and Edward's funnel was puffing nicely. Then, as if by magic, Gordon and Edward steamed away. Edward puffed and pulled as hard as he could, but Gordon was pulling ahead. Soon Gordon was speeding through the beautiful countryside. I'm going to win, he thought. Later at the station, Gordon was collecting passengers. He felt proud of himself. That poor little Edward, he thought. I'll show him what big engines can do. And he waited for the signal to change to clear. But it didn't. The minutes passed, and Gordon was impatient. If the signal doesn't change to green, he snapped, then I won't win the race. At last, some engineers came to investigate the problem. Just as I thought, said one. It must be jammed, and they worked as hard as they could. Just then, Gordon heard a familiar whistle, and Edward came chuntering along the station. Almost there, he panted. And a few seconds later, Gordon watched as Edward disappeared. He was frantic, and he whistled impatiently at the workmen. And then the signal flipped to green. All fixed, Gordon, they said. Hearing this, Gordon started his wheels, which moved back and forth, and suddenly he began to move as fast as he could after Edward. Meanwhile, Edward was having the time of his life. I'm ahead, he puffed. Go at it, boy, encouraged his driver. You're ahead of Gordon, you're ahead of it. Well done, boy, oh, well done. Edward was tired, but he refused to give up. Mustn't give up, he puffed to himself. Everyone who saw him waved and cheered for him. Finally, he arrived at the station near the harbor. Hurrah! He peeped. I did it! Henry, who was taking a goods train there, congratulated him. I told you could be as fast as Gordon, he said. As Gordon puffed wearily in. You know, little Edward, he panted, you certainly are really useful, fast, and reliable as me. Thank you, said Edward. It's lovely to be really useful, though.